this is Tanisha. So we are continuing with abstract number 3 of 100. And just as a reminder, in case someone new is watching the channel, I'm going through a challenge where I make 100 abstract paintings. The goal was not to complete it, but to learn from it. And so the challenge for this week ended up being making a simple abstract painting. And the reason why I had to do that is because I wasn't able to go into my studio where everything is, and I had to use what I had at my home studio, which I have some artwork here, but not as much. So I thought this is a great time to make a simple abstract. And you would think this would be really, really easy, and it's not. So what you're seeing on the screen is I'm doing some tests. I'm just basically trying some different compositions. And here's the thing, I didn't even test colors or do anything like that. I just decided to just pick some colors and just went at it, and this was not the best idea. But anyways, again, this is about learning, being brave, and just doing something. It may not come out right, but hey, I'll learn something from it. Maybe you'll learn something from it too. But anyways, as you'll see through this video, a lot of it is practicing different colors, different compositions. I'm noticing a pattern in how I use my tools. I'm noticing even if I'm using a different tool, I still seem to make the same type of marks. So I know in the future I'm going to do a challenge where I'm going to use some type of tool that doesn't allow me to make the same type of marks that I typically like to make, because you don't want to use the same marks all the time. I need to force myself to do that. All right, so this is going horribly bad. I absolutely hate this, but I know it is a challenge, and I feel like, there's a lot of channels out there that will only show the perfect piece of artwork, and I think it's valuable to see the bad, because not everything comes out good, not everything comes out right. And here's an example of something that looks really horrible. I'm not too excited about this, but hey, it was a test and it just didn't work out that well, and that's okay. All right, so if you made it this far, we're getting closer to the one that actually I love. Now, this isn't it yet, but I kind of like these. I really like what's happening with the water over there. So I definitely plan to explore this a bit more. I had put a little extra water along with my paint. Now, they always say, with acrylics, don't put too much water, but I definitely like to investigate this a little bit more. I really liked how it was flowing on the paper. So this isn't going so well. I'm not really liking this a whole lot. Looks like a blob of I don't know what. I don't know what's happening here, but it isn't good. And it's okay, because I believe the next paintings is going to lead to the one that is my inspiration for my final painting for abstract 3 of 100. All right, so this is where things start to get a little bit better. Put my thinking cap on. I said, hey, what colors go with blue really, really well? And I actually did a little color mixing to make it go together pretty well as well. So I decided to add in some orange. I felt like orange really goes with blue, and this is where things started to get a little bit better. I started to think a little bit, and it's fun to play, but I think what I can say I'm learning from this is that it is good to have a plan on what colors you're planning to use. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but I feel like when you're making something like this so simple, I think there's a little bit of planning that needs to happen, just like I'm making different sketches just to practice composition. I think it's because you're using up so little space on the paper, it's really good to practice and have the right colors in place, at least have them in mind. And here, this is my favorite. This one right here I finally hit something that I like. So the one on the left is my inspiration for the final painting that I did for abstract number 3 of 100. So now I'm getting excited. I'm like, okay, I love this. I don't want to mess this up. Of course, this is just practice. I decided to do these little dots and I felt like it was perfect. This is even more so my favorite than the final painting, which you'll see. Because I think it's just hard to redo exactly what you did before. And you'll be able to see that as we get closer to the final painting. But the one on the left is my favorite. Okay, here's the next disaster. This is horrible. Okay, it happens to us all. No one's perfect. It's just not true. If you think artists are perfect, it's not true. Look at this. This is crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was doing. I absolutely hate this. But that's okay. That's all right. It's going to help me get better in the future. Okay, so I'm glad we are done with that disaster, and now here's the point where I'm going to go ahead and make the final painting for abstract 3 of 100. And as you see on the left, that is the one I love, and that's what I'm going for. So let's go ahead and show you where I've gotten. And this here, I didn't like it as much. I feel like the color just wasn't as great. So here we go. We're set up. The setup doesn't look the greatest, but again, I'm in my home studio. Don't have everything I usually have, so I'm working with what I have, and that's what we have to do sometimes. And see, this is the final one. I've made some different hand movements, but it's okay. I did use the same tool that I used before on the one that I like, so I'm loving this tool, and I will be using it again because I like how it moves the paint around. But this is it. And this one doesn't look so bad. It's not exactly the same as the other. I think it's just impossible. And that's why I think it's really good to buy original art, because there's a huge possibility no one ever will get the same exact painting as what you got. Okay, so here I am adding the orange to this painting. Now, the only thing I didn't like is the orange spots were a little bit bigger than before. So I did not expect that to happen. But it still looks good. So I still like it. And I'm happy I'm able to come up with something I like. But again, I always have to keep reminding myself, this is just practice. I'm learning. And I'm learning now. I can say that it's probably helpful to plan out your colors, do a little test, make sure they go together. Make sure you have some contrast, and also be prepared to play a lot. Make a lot of different paintings to find that composition that you want. And that's probably what I learned the most. But it was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, and talk to you soon.